popping off. And a lot of these teams, especially like these two right here, are fighting to change their 4-4 standing and to get away from everyone else, to pull away with the 5-4, or yeah, with the 5-4 today.
So I go.
Starting
okay,
off,
some quick bans coming off.
Lulu and Shen to start us off. Gengar.
Definitely one of the stronger performers in the jungle right now.
Gengar.
And Lux also taken off, as they really don't want that one on SJ capping. As chat pops off with the Gengars.
No Gengar. Hashtag no Gengar. I've started something. They already, we're gonna see Cairo yet again on the Ezreal. Followed by the anti-fun champion. That will be going over to JuliaDuck. No, the anti-fun champion.
Literally a 90% pick ban rate in the series.
The anti-fun champion. I just want to know why. I mean, I understand why Morgana is pick ban right now, because she's disgusting and annoying and no one likes her. I have a personal vendetta against that champion as a tank support player. Although recently I've been playing a lot of Lulu because tank supports suck apparently. But, you know, this is fine. We see Lee Sin coming in from JuliaDuck, and I want to see how Huge Minion Difference responds to this. With a Shyvana, probably AP, which I lost to earlier today, and it was not fun because that champion's AP's ratio on the Flame Breath is disgusting. I was playing Lulu, I was taking 500 damage from the Flame Breath every time it hit me. Even when I dodged it, it wasn't fun. Oh, Kinder in the chat asking about Diana, and I've never hated Diana once. I have always thought Diana was not a very strong champion.
No, Blitzcrank was selected for Huge Minion Difference here.
Opting for the Blitzcrank into the Morgana, I mean, I guess that's fine. I personally have no problem with it. It is a skill matchup, to be if I'm being fair, but it's very Morgana sided because Morgana just black shields the hook. It's kind of it. But we do see the Vladimir, which means that they're gonna have a lot of late game presence, or mid to late game presence on the side of JuliaDuck.
Yes, we go into our second round of bans here. JuliaDuck taking their time.
Oh god. We see the Irelia ban, so I guess Bo is not gonna see an Irelia. I don't usually see Bo on carry champions, on hard carry champions. Usually we see Bo on like the tankier-ish bruisers. So we're talking like Yorick, Scion, and stuff like that. I don't know what else we were seeing from this season, but because I don't have the stat sheet in front of me, like because I'm an idiot. But you know, this is fine. We do see a Nocturne ban. Nocturne, we did see a lot of success on the Nocturne yesterday, on from another player of the split. You know who you are. Toot your own horn. Ginobili. I too watch basketball. But finishing things off with an Aatrox ban, I don't know. I mean, a certain somebody else in the series plays Aatrox, and I very much talk about that. Certain somebody who's sitting in the chat who disappoints me in pretty much every game.
All toxicity aside, as everyone seems to be wanting to do my position in this series. Vayne picked up for JuliaDuck, looking to put on some true damage onto that Shyvana to keep them down. Oof, that's tankiness right there.
Looking again at like the final picks here, we've got Cassidy to kind of match the Vladimir later into the game as far as scaling goes, and Poppy, which I don't know if that is, well, I guess if they pick the Vayne and the Lee Sin, I guess it does do very well into those two champions. Although Vayne can easily shred Poppy even without her tumble. Lee Sin might find some struggles there with the Poppy.
Ooh, I like the Kled pick here.
Kled into Poppy. I don't know.
I think Kled's supposed to win that early.
Oh yeah, Kled definitely wins it early. It's just like when we get later into the game, once Poppy picks up an armor item or two, it's going to be very difficult for Kled to stay on top in terms of in terms of keeping damage on her. But it really depends on how Poppy itemizes. Like if we see an early Ninja Tabby with an early Chain Vest, or not a Chain Vest, an early Bramble Vest, it might spell a lot of trouble for Kled. But then also Poppy does want to have access to the Sunfire Cape as well as a Sheen item, so we'll see how that works out as well. Probably Iceborne Gauntlet, but I mean that's still a lot of armor for a team that has a Vladimir and a Morgana. But let's see in the chat if we've got some HMD wins or some JD wins. My money is definitely going to Huge Minion Difference. Cairo has been impressing me over and over again throughout the season, despite his team being 4-4. But this is fine because this game, I want HMD to win.
You know what? I am going to have to disagree. My vote is going to JuliaDuck here.
Which is fair. You're allowed to pick JuliaDuck. I mean, you can be wrong, but that's also fine.
Well, you see, it's very rare that I'm wrong. The last match being one of the very few times. I'm just going to say it. I think that JuliaDuck's individual players are better, line for line, across the board.
I don't know. When we stack things up, I mean, Cairo has proven time and time again on the Ezreal that champion is his. I don't think anyone in the split is playing Ezreal as well as he is. And then we've got some, like, just strong individual picks here, which I think is going to come into play too.
Now, Shadow Jumper did get one of his mains in that Cassidy, but I still think that JuliaDuck is going to pull this together. We saw yesterday, apparently they just started using comms for the first time this series, and they performed a lot better than what we've seen from them. And I think that's going to be a turning point. If they can keep that up and they can start performing better as a team, I think they should easily win this game.
I don't know about easily, especially with the way that Huge Minion Difference scales in this game. Both teams have really good scaling and good wave clear as well between the Morgana Puddle and the Vlad, who can easily like wave clear out against the CCO, who's probably running AP, especially if they're running AP, will be able to wave clear. Like by himself, Shyvana is able to wave clear by himself. It's actually disgusting how well that champion just wave clears with Flame Breath. Just uses Flame Breath and the entire mini wave is just gone. But they shouldn't need it like that because the split push is really gonna come into play with the Kled here, I think. But I don't know if it'll be enough to take down Tuli's Poppy.
Well, once again, I like to reiterate that this most certainly is League of Legends, which means team comps and individual players aside, it is up for the teams themselves to show us what they can do and whether or not we will have, or who will come up ahead in this fight, as we will cut to a loading screen before going into the Rift.
So I wonder what is up next. Ooh, how?
You know what, Brown? I haven't done this in a minute. I haven't had a nice cast with you in a while, and I also haven't thrown down the gauntlet. You seem quite confident in Huge Minion Difference. You want to bet a random skin on it?
You say this like I have money to put into getting skins.
Oh, come on. You're so confident, though.
I am confident, so I know I'm gonna win this game. That's not the problem. The problem is that I mean I'll take it, but whatever. I'll spare a couple dollars and out of my $0 to figure that out. I'll take
Chat
it.
calling you out for 450 RP at Brown.
Hold on. Hold on now. I don't listen. You don't know my life. You don't know where my money is.
Probably in ramen noodles, if I have to guess.
Yeah, that's where my money goes. Because I have no money for anything else. I scream.
Oh no, my poor friend.
I am
As
poor.
we will
Imagine.
load, as we load into the rift.
I would say imagine being poor, but then I'm like, I don't have to. Let's see. Let's
Oof.
looking at this game. Looking at
Oof.
this game. It doesn't seem like any of the we loaded really quick into this game. Hold on now, but it didn't seem like we saw too much of the off any off meta rune choices here. Although we did see the only like questionable thing would be the comment on the Morgana on Astral Dose Morgana, but other than that, everything else seems to be very standard across the board, even the Grasp of the Undying Poppy. And like I said, the AP Shyvana, we are seeing maybe a 5-point from JD. Nope, we're not gonna. Feels bad, man. But we do see the 5-stack from Huge Minion Difference, and I'm very ready for it. Very, very ready to see how this plays out, even though it doesn't seem like a lot's gonna go on for early game shenanigans.
Yeah, going to be pretty boring. No early game action.
I don't know
Really
about.
making for a sad Toxicrome here, especially when there's a
Oh my god.
Blitzcrank on the board. Like,
Oh my god.
you
You
just go
called it
for it. I
boring. You
think.
called it boring. I like this. I like it when teams play like textbook. They do things the right way. The way that works every time. But looking at, just want to point out the cleanse on Cairo. I'm assuming it's going to be for the use of specifically for the Morgana bind.
Yeah, I can.
Another Daisy already looking to try and pressure Shadow Jumper off of this minion wave, getting a nice easy transfusion. Nothing too crazy going on yet, just a really early game farming. Things are going left and right. Vitalize opting not to clear any other camp on his top side, just going directly from red to wolves.
That tells me that he's probably going to come in for a super early gank down bot.
Oh yeah, I could see that, especially with the way that that bot is looking in terms of the minion wave. It's definitely going to push towards JD's bot lane, missing that hook.
Easy hook.
Almost barely.
Easy hook.
You're calling it an easy hook? I mean, I guess.
That was an easy hook.
And it was the level 2 power spike without them even hitting level 2. It would have been a really good trade for them for Huge Minion Difference's bot lane.
A huge Minion Difference needing to wake up here. As the first 3 minutes have been pretty stale. I need to wake up here as my first 3 minutes has also been pretty stale. As it looks like Vitalize will be coming in here with a unpredicted gank. The step up will happen. The binding will go, but nothing's going to come from it. No kills picked up. That felt a little prematurely abandoned, but
I'm going to agree with you because they even pinged earlier into the game that Cairo has the cleanse and not heal for him for SJ Captain. So I don't know why that was brought back so bad. And there was already a 1 stack of silver bolts on SJ Captain. They could have. I feel like they could have definitely stayed on that.
Does Blitzcrank still have his passive, or did they pop it?
He still got it.
They popped it.
Oh no, they definitely popped it. You're right.
Yeah, no, seeing that, I definitely think they should have went in.
But top lane, it seems as though Yias is Kled. Kled has
Yes,
been
it's
Yes.
us.
Yes, Kled has been dismounted, so we might see a teleport come in here from both sides. Because usually as the first comes out. You were saying?
Bo actually just about being cheeky here, delaying his back a little bit, probably to see what Yeas would be doing before doing his own back.
But like I did say, the teleport was blown from Yeas, and it seemed like it wasn't even worth it. Opting into the Doran's Blade against a Poppy, I don't know how I feel about that. But Bo was able to... Oh, he's still going for it anyway. Missing the Q. But stopping the back, so it kind of works out. Dismounting Yeas.
Ooh, lots of damage going through. Flash goes through. Flash in response gets the first blood. He is picking up a kill under tower there, looking to push his advantage. That was very well done.
Very well done. Both flashes being blown, the teleport coming in from Bo. Still no level 6 from Bo either. Might try to turn this into something. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to, especially with Yeas still having the jousting ready to walk away from. Seems as though Yeas is going to look for a somewhat deep ward as CCO is able to solo the dragon. CCO is looking towards the bot lane, trying to stay out of vision as long as possible. Almost clips the Vayne with that, but Astral is able to tumble to safety. And both mid laners being, as Monochrome would say, boring and farming it up.
They are.
I disagree with you. I think this is fine. Because neither of these champions can do anything.
Yeah, Shadow Jumper has his ult now, so we might see some action finally in that mid lane.
I don't think so. Because trading with Daisy's Vlad, I don't think is gonna spout good things for him. Because especially since Daisy's just gonna be able to heal it up with the way that Cassidy's cooldowns work. Only 2 Rift Walks, like, until the reset, are gonna work out, and apparently Rift Walking on top of an empowered Q Daisy was Shadow Jumper's choice. I question that, but it seems as though there's going to be some action in the jungle. CCO and Vitalized looking at each other, but because CCO is AP...
This fight looking...
Wait,
this a little one-sided. Vitalized might be out of position here. CCO could have won that, but that Vladimir's going to go in deep to get the kill as Astral Dose lands the binding, forcing SJ Captain to flash out. Cairo in poor position here, going to get the third stack off the Vayne autos to pop, and did not fare particularly well, as that trade most certainly favored the side of JuliaDuck.
HMD just seems to be playing very scared right now. Even CCO was very late to react to the last Sonic Wave that actually missed, and definitely would have been able to kill Vitalized there with no cooldowns available, but flashed away and then proceeded to try to run him down, but I think it was too late at that point. It was just real interesting. And is Force Pulse what you usually max on Cassidy? An E-max on Cassidy? I thought you usually maxed the Null Sphere for the extra magic damage shield and the cooldown.
I have no idea. I am not a Cassidy expert in the least, so I'm going to take your word for that.
Somebody in the chat can probably tell me, but Well, both to Kinder and Troll the Noob saying you just max E. I guess I just play Cassidon wrong.
Ooh, Vitalize getting pretty deep here into the enemy jungle. Looks like he's tempting Fate a little bit. Wants to duke it out with CCO.
Why?
CCO's going to use his ult just to get out. That seems a little excessive. As the Kled ult goes in, the knockup goes down. CCO is out of position here and will fall. As Bo is going to look it out, but Shadow Jumper is in the wings. That's going to be a deadly sin. As Yes is going to do his best to get his own way out of here, which he will succeed in doing. As another DayZ will step up to guarantee that he escapes.
Now, that was just really interesting because CCO again just seems to be really scared in the way that he's playing right now. Like he had Shadow Jumper there on the wing. Like Shadow Jumper was behind, like right behind his tower, which means that he was in a position to really turn that
Meanwhile, down bot lane, hate to interrupt you, but Astral Dose is getting hooked up here. SJ Capping having to suddenly audible and change position. He's in the poor position here as Astral is going to pick up the kill. That is a super low bot lane, but it may not work out. Cairo doing his best to pick up some kills here, and will pick up the double kill as that was played rather poorly. They were unable to escape after picking up the kill onto SJ Capping, and that's just going to push that Ezreal further ahead.
And I don't think it was poor play from either side. I thought both sides played it very well. It's just that Cairo just played it better.
Very true. Although I feel like they may have gone a little bit too deep there with the Ezreal still at mostly full health.
They wanted SJ Capping.
They did. They got what they wanted, but they may have bit off more than they can chew.
Oh yeah. So now now Cairo is going to come back with full Ionian boots. It seems, and a tier. Oh, already had the tier with a sheen.
No.
I guess.
Yeah. See a nice little fight over the Dragon Pit. CCO ulting in and then setting up. Wants to really duke it out with this dragon. Looking to push his team's advantage, but SJ Capping's probably out of position here as he's going to pop the ult. Astrodo's going to do some damage, but Vitalize is going to secure the kill. And that will be a free dragon for JuliaDuck here. Kind of pre-leased to them by CCO and SJ Capping, so gonna have to tighten up on that performance if they do not want to be punished further on.
And it's a ticking time bomb right now between the AD carries, because obviously Cairo is going to eventually be able to just one-shot Astral with the build, but we'll see what Cairo opts into, if he opts into the Triforce or the Iceborne Gauntlet this time around. Astral Dose missing the Dark Binding, and CCO is here. Is trying to
protect that a little bit. But CCO is still hovering around. Astrodol's in really poor position here. He's going to dodge the Arcane Barrage, but Astral is getting rather low. Ignite gets popped. Some flashes go down. Rift Herald is dropped, and looks to be that like they're Huge Minion Difference just going to siege up bot lane here, having brought 4 members down.
Once again, the Huge Minion Difference is once again looking like they're struggling in the communication department, because even with this, like, DayZ is just in the mid lane, just hacking away at this tower, and it doesn't seem like they're HMD is going to pick up anything out of this. Like, even with the timing of CCO's ultimate not being up at the beginning of that, just seemed like a huge miscommunication that's just going on there, trying to force things that they shouldn't be.
Yeah, the fact that 3 members of JuliaDuck are able to hold off 4 members of Huge Minion Difference opens up this Vladimir to do whatever he wants mid lane, and that's rather unfortunate.
And it seems as though in the top lane, even Yeas, even though he picked up the 2 kills, is just still struggling against the Poppy. Teleport is not available, which means if Yeas backs here, might lose the tower. immediately getting dismounted. Bot lane looking like some more stuff's going down. A little bit out of range for the WQ, which means that his E is going to be really interesting.
Big fight down bot lane. Vitalize doing the insect, knocking back SJ capping to secure the kill.
Pretty clean Lee Sin play so far that I'm seeing. The Runic Echoes has been completed by the Shyvana, so they might look to dive here, which it looks like they will.
Yep.
CCO
he is
going
eating a lot of damage here. Oof. Oof. That looked painful.
I'm so confused as to like the way that like the decisions that CCO is making between like the decisions to dive or not without even having the tower aggro and just a whole lot of things that are just not optimal, I would say. But it seems as though DayZ is pressuring Shadow Jumper again here in the mid lane with the bot lane shenanigans, putting him pretty behind actually, down 40 CS and several tower plates.
Looks like we're going to have a fight over Rift Herald here. As Vitalize looking to get in onto CCO. Super low right now. Cladalt goes down. CCO's in big trouble. Going to have to flash away. But Bo going to take the opportunity to get the extra move speed off of Yeas. But Bo is in poor position here. Going to get damaged pretty effectively. Vitalize way too deep, though. It's going to get picked off. And that will be a 1-for-1. Yeas and CCO being the only survivors. Unfortunately, this could be dangerous as the dismine occurs. Both teams going back and forth. SJ capping in real danger here. The remount appears and just in time, and another DayZ takes a turn shot as 2 more kills pass over to the pockets of JuliaDuck.
And again, it's just really clean looking play from JD. It's just they waited it out, and it could have been really bad if CCO was able to reach her ultimate again, to reach the Shyvana ultimate again. But it's like I said, with DayZ being allowed to just sit in the mid lane and just farm, that really put Shadow Jumper behind. Again, now being down almost 50 CS, 3 kills, and a bunch of tower plates. The gold difference is almost 2,000 between the mid laners right now. And the mid tower going down too, which will only further increase that lead.
Yeah, looks like we have CCO hovering around this bot lane. We'll get spotted out by a ward, I believe. Yeah, he got spotted by that ward.
So now all of the eggs are in the Cairo basket.
Vitalize
like almost smited away. No, not quite. But it seems as though everyone's on their way out.
SJ capping might look for a cheeky hook here, but I'd almost be afraid to hook in that position.
With the 4 members, or with all 5 members of down here in a 5v5, it seems as though the Kled starting off the fight.
Yes, sir. He misses his hook, but he is going to be eating a ton of damage. The return hook comes in. He is going to get picked off. That kill going on to the Ezreal of Cairo, which is probably the best place that gold could have went on this team comp.
For sure. Because now you've put the Ezreal even further ahead, who has 1,500 gold, which is enough for if he were to back now, would pick up another piece of the Triforce, or even the Iceborne Gauntlet if that's what you wanted to opt into this game. Already halfway finished with the Muramana, with the tier stacking.
Speaking of scaling, Cassidy just picked up his Rod of Ages. Shadow Jumper looking to finally get one of his decent power spikes as he will grow in strength after this.
Yeah, see, and with Shadow Jumper opting for the double scaling, he might actually catch up to the Vlad here. And something that's been on my mind since the beginning of Champ Select really is like how well the scaling is between Vlad and Cassidy. Like, who has a scarier late game between those 2 mid laners?
I honestly think it's the Cassidy.
I don't know, because with Vladimir, it's like he can devastate an entire team. With Kassadin, usually he blows up like one or two people, and then is forced to walk away.
Yeah, speaking of having to walk away, CCO eating a ton of damage there, as Vitalize wants to go for him, but Shadow Jumper is here in the wings to help protect. Vitalize going to walk over the pink ward. Lee Sin having to go down. It looks like he may be looking to re-engage on this. Instead, he's going to have to settle for the blue buff, as it looks like Huge Minion Difference are looking to collapse. Oh my god, that was a literally one health blue buff. What a well-timed ultimate.
Very well played from Bo. Allowing Shadow Jumper to pick up the blue buff, which is going to be huge, as long as he doesn't die here, with Yeast here on the wing. Now he's just going to be able to stack that tier a little bit better for the time being without running out of mana. Oof, missing that cannon.
You hate to see it.
But it seems as though HMD wants to pressure this mid tower. And despite everything that's happened, there's only a 1,000 gold difference between the teams, which really is negligible.
Yeah, game is super close.
Oof, that hook almost landing again.
CCO popping his ult a little bit early here, I think.
I don't know about early. I thought that was a really good use of it, because look at that.
Okay, that hurts.
Yeah, remember the point of AP Shyvana. It's to do exactly what she just did. She ulted just to push Astral and Astral Dose off of the tower, and proceeded to continue to barrage them with Flame Breath, which is on a very short cooldown, mind you. It's on a 5-second cooldown. Every 5 seconds, it's like a 500 damage thing right now. It seems as though Yeast is coming in, trying to pick up CCO here, and forced to flash away.
Yeah, this team fight feels really sloppy, as Bo is just going to go into the back line. Both sides are going to disengage from each other. As Yeast looks to get the re-engage, he's going to get low here, though. But another day, Z going deep in the back line, gets a double kill for himself, and looks to continue the fight. Bo in poor position here. Astral Dose managing to drop the Hourglass to stay alive. SJ Capping going to be able to get out on his own. And all in all, that was a sloppy but one-sided fight for JuliaDuck.
And now they're looking towards the Baron. That fight, like I said before, it was huge for DayZ to really get this far ahead of Shadow Jumper, now at a 4,000 gold difference between the mid laners. But it doesn't seem like HMD is going to even attempt to contest this. No, that's going to be a Baron for JD here, which gives him a lot of pressure. And now, I wonder if we're going to see a game like we saw yesterday, where the dragon, specifically the dragon control, turns the entire game around. And there's not a lot of magic resist on the side of HMD for DayZ. That is another thing to really put to note.
Looks like JuliaDuck will not let this dragon be uncontested. They go in for the engage, but Dragon's already pretty low. It's going to be a smite fight. That huge Minion Difference is going to win, but it's going to cost them a fair bit. Vitalize is low here. Oh my god, what a shutdown onto the Vlad. And as the fight continues to go on, Yi is going a little bit too deep here. The binding lands from Astral Dose, but it's not going to be enough to secure a kill. And that felt remarkably like a turnaround. A lot of gold was just handed back into the pocket of Huge Minion Difference.
Almost a 2,000 gold shift towards HMD here. Although they did give up 3 members of their team, they also got the Dragon as well as 2 shutdowns. Despite that, the gold difference is still about 4,000. or 4.5k really, but the Ezreal hit Cairo hit the Muramana spike in the middle of that fight. So now looking forward, especially with the gold, the extra 1,000 gold to spend to pick up to finish off that recurve bow, probably looking towards the Blade of the Ruin King. It's gonna be really hard to ignore or to catch out Cairo, especially having the Iceborne Gauntlet, because they're really trying to put all their eggs into Cairo to give them enough time for Kassadin to catch up and scale. Because that 4,000
like
gold
fight breaking out right now as they want to duke it out over blue buff, which will get stolen by the Lee Sin.
There's no big major objective on the map for another 3 minutes, so let's see what each team is going to be able to come up with within the next 3 minutes, whether or not they're going to fight, or if they're just going to allow their hyper carries to scale. Because there are 2 hyper carries, late game hyper carries on the side of JD, but only 1 on the side. Well, I would go so far as to consider Shyvana 1, but there's actually 3 hyper carries on the side of HMD. Because even before, in that fight, and in the one where they pushed for the mid tower, you saw how much damage CCO was able to put out right now with just those two items. And it's only going to get worse from there. The Blade of the Ruin King is finished from Cairo, so that is a 3-item transform tier Ezreal, and that is not someone you want to mess with. But on the flip side, JD does have the Blade of the Ruin King in the Ginsu's on the Vayne, who's might opt into either a Hex Drinker or a Wit's End here. Looks like some top fighting going on. We've got 2 trying to pick off DayZ, which they actually should be able to here. Nope, opting not to. A little bit too strong of a DayZ. Still not opting for a lot of magic resist.
Yeah, this seems odd. Oh, looks like we have a nice little fight down bot lane. Bo is a massive tank right here. Gonna just use his ult for the knockup as he is gonna get the reset onto his mount. Skarl coming in to give him that extra health, which will allow him to escape. One of the absolutely aggravating parts of League is playing against the Kled that just always conveniently gets Skarl right when he needs him.
About another minute before the major objectives are both back on the map, which means that we're probably going to see some big fights happening soon. DayZ is very, very quickly approaching his level 16. He will be level 16 by the time this comes up, so it's going to be very difficult for HMD to really do anything to him now that he will be level 16 within the next, or by the time the next major fight breaks out. Or maybe not.
Which it looks like the next major fight might just be Dragon here. SJ capping, stepping forward here to try to get some vision, but maybe putting himself in a little bit of danger as he is going to drop the ult onto the Kled. SJ capping responding with the ult of his own as this fight starts to swing back and forth. 1 kill is picked up for Shadow Jumper already. He is looking to re-engage here. That Vladimir just seems to heal constantly.
The only healing reduction right now is coming from the Kassadin as well as the Ezreal.
Shadow Jumper may be in poor position here. Going to get picked off. Vitalized getting the kill. Meanwhile, SJ capping about to kill himself. Some members of the enemy team himself as the Vayne of Astral will pick up a kill, and all in all, this fight seems to have gone to the favor of JuliaDuck as they look to get Dragon all to themselves.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay,
If that's
Vladimir going a little far here, but Vitalize managing to make it work. Daisy walking away with his life. Another kill picked up, and things swinging further into the hands of JuliaDuck here.
Yeah, I don't know if hooking the hooking DayZ into the team was the move in that last fight. But I think that these team fights need to be played much slower. And like I said before, there's not a lot of magic resist. It seems as though CCO is looking to pick up a wit's end, but and even Shadow Jumper opted into a Morellonomicon to cut the healing, but his tier is completely stacked. So not having that item really does make a huge difference in these fights. But again, there's just not any magic resist for DayZ, who's able to just cleave the entire team if he's able to get a half decent ultimate off. Hemoplague is, even right now, is a 700. I mean, yeah, it's almost a 700 damage ultimate, plus whatever he's able to put to dish out on top with the bonus damage amp from it.
Looks like JuliaDuck's going to position around Baron here. I don't think they're going to do a full commit. However, it looks like they will just try to put a little show here.
Oof, almost.
Yeah, that hook was super close.
And I think the best thing to note is that the 5,000 gold difference is pretty much just the mid difference. Because like 3,000 of that is coming strictly from mid lane.
You know, both teams just kind of taking a second to farm up here as we look to find the next objective to fight over. Baron is up, so that is most likely a possibility, but both teams seem to be dancing around in the bot side jungle.
Cairo is out here trying to look for as much poke damage as he can put down before the fight starts. Really in need of like a blue buff or something, because even at half mana, the Muramana's passive is really not as strong as it is at full mana. Because it is worth noting that the way that Muramana works is that it deals bonus damage based on your current mana.
Looks like we have a fight going off as Kled ult and Poppy ult both used to actually start and then disengage the fight as CCO looks to juke in with his ult. The Shyvana looking excellent in that nice bright pink dragon form.
Looking excellent and doing nothing.
I mean, yeah.
I don't think anyone noticed but me, but like Astral got an auto off on Bo right before the back animation finished, so it actually might come into play here because Bo didn't get the full home guard effect. But yeah, that is a second Baron.
Is picked up. Yeah. Very well, or pretty much uncontested. Some minor harass coming out of Cairo. It looks like JuliaDuck's going to take the opportunity to reset and then push onto the Dragon Pit. Definitely have to contest this one as much as possible, as this will be Dragon Soul for huge minion difference.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that CCO is not full AP with the Wit's End there. Probably should have went Banshee's Veil if I were to ask. Oh, Cairo is in a huge spot of trouble, but it seems as though they
as the
might.
fight breaks out, this fight seems to be turning. JuliaDuck is putting in a lot of work. Shadow Jumper super low here, going to get picked up by the Vayne. As Cairo, ooh, that auto attack is going to follow. So does that minion attack. That's a massive swing, and Dragon picked up. The enemy team killed off, and looks like the base is going to be cracked open. JuliaDuck pushing for the win here.
Yeah, they're going to be able to end this game, especially with the Baron minions pushing in like this. No one's up for another 20, at least another 20 seconds.
Yeah, poor Bo, the last line of defense, has to flash away as he is hard engaged on. Masteries are flashed, and this game will come to a close.
Wow. Finishing off the game. That is JD finishing it off. But it's like I said, it was like they didn't, like HMD just did not itemize and prioritize the Vlad at all. And it was just like Cairo did everything he could in team fights, but it was just like it doesn't matter if there's no magic resist to slow down DayZ. It just straight up didn't matter, and he finished. He was full build by like the 32-minute mark, and it just really showed. It really showed how it when it popped off.
Yep, and with that, we will have our winner, JuliaDuck, coming off of that game, a full 10,000 gold ahead of their opponent, and looking strong.
I don't know. It was just like it was 2 hyper carries against 3, but it was just like it didn't matter because I believe the itemization was not prioritized properly on the side of HMD. And it was just like a lot of slight misplays here and there that costed fights.
Yeah, super unfortunate. However, just clean my nails real quick as the victor predicted the outcome before the game started.
Who are you?
Just the best caster we have.
I still disagree there, but you know we can go with that.
And yeah, so I win.
This is fine. This is fine.
Looks like we are currently maybe working on an interview.
That's what I'm hearing from the higher ups. Is that's what we're working on.
And
but I mean, again, this game wasn't textbook by any means. I thought it was sloppy on both sides. It was one of those things where it could have swung in either way, but it was just like because of another DayZ's Vladimir, it was just like, again, that just not being prioritized properly. It just made it so difficult for HMD to really come back without picking off other people first, which I guess is what they were trying to do, trying to have fights without DayZ, but banking on that was not optimal, and it turned out to backfire.
yeah, just quick look at the damage charts. That Vlad did a lot of damage. I actually kind of expected the Ezreal to outperform just on raw damage stats, but
The 31k damage
yeah,
champions as opposed to the 23k damage champions on the Ezreal is just like, it just proves how devastating I don't even want to say a fed Vlad, because he wasn't fed until like later into the game. It was just he was very farmed and just was able to push the tower in repeatedly while Shadow tried to make plays across the map. But
yeah, allowing the Vladimir to free farm, I think, was the real tipping point of this game. And on that note, do you have any final thoughts there, buddy?
I think that's just That's just it. I'm ready to see how, after the round robin is finished today, how the future weeks are going to start coming together and really doing the things that they're supposed to do. Oh, today's the first day. My bad. I have a different timeline in my head, but this was the first of the new games of not the round robin stuff. So it's going to be real interesting to see what we have finishing off. But that will be it from me. I am your host, Brown on. I'm with my co-host here.
Monochrome 94, having enjoyed another day of being mostly correct.
Excuse you.
You're excused.
I didn't do anything wrong. But we do have Smug Club versus Glacier Rising Phoenix up next. You don't want to miss that game, and we're going to keep things nice and